We also have a couple of our academic partners here. We've got Dr. Ron Walcott, the Dean of Graduate Education at UGA, and Dr. Kimberly Areola, the Dean of the Laney Graduate School at Emory. But you may have noticed on your way in that part of today's event is being sponsored by Roche Diagnostics. They are one of our newest corporate partners, and we are thrilled to have them here today. We've got quite a selection of our Roche executives with us. I'd first like to recognize Jamie Dieter. Dr. Dieter is one of our members and also a Roche executive. We have Lori Satterfield, the Senior Manager of Social Impact. Dr. Denise Heaney, who is the Vice President of Medical and Scientific Affairs. And Tracy Bennett, their Corporate Account Director. But I have the pleasure of introducing Johnny Smith, the Vice President of Commercial Enablement, and he's going to talk a little bit about why they decided to partner with ARCS Atlanta.
Thank you. It's great to be with you this afternoon, and it's just an honor to be here. So I'm with Roche Diagnostics. So if you're familiar with Roche, so Roche is the largest biotech company in the world. So we're based in Switzerland, but we have two divisions, pharmaceutical and diagnostics. I'm on the diagnostic side of the business, and we really look to diagnose diseases that affect millions of people across the world. But I'm just honored really to be here. You know, I step here and I've had these prepared remarks, and I'm gonna tell you all about Roche and everything, but then I started talking to Middleton and to Marissa and to Elise, and I just in awe of just their brilliance and their commitment to research and their commitment to improving the lives of millions of patients across the world. And it's really what we are at Roche as well, but I mean, congratulations to the scholars. Let's just start there. I mean, this is a big deal. And as a non-researcher, as a non-scientist, this is very humbling to be around you all. And I really do appreciate it. It's our honor here at Roche to support ARCS, a great organization. This is our first year. I hope to continue our partnership for years to come, but it's such an honor to be with you all. Thank you for allowing us to join you and to celebrate the scholars today. So thank you.
The best advertisement for what we do is our scholars. And in the old days, we used to have you meet every one of them and they'd all talk for a few seconds, but we decided what would be better is if you actually got to meet and hear more about the research that at least one scholar from each school, and then you'll have time to follow up with their colleagues. So I have the pleasure of, I'm really short, I should probably move that. I have the pleasure of introducing Will McFadden from Emory. He is a Pittsburgh native and he is working on AIDS research. Will.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much. I really want to first start off by saying thank you to everybody who helped make this possible and this nice event. So thank you to them. And thank you to everybody at ARCS for honoring me as well as our fellow students for these awards. It's been very impactful to me, honestly. Having the financial flexibility has been exceptionally beneficial to me as a graduate student that many others may not have. And Atlanta has become a more and more expensive place to live over the past few years, so I just cannot say how helpful this has been to me. So thank you very much. And not only is the financial aspect very helpful, it's been a really honor to be an art scholar because we get the opportunity to interface with both scientists, scholars, both undergraduate and graduate students, as well as non-scientists. So it's been a really nice and wonderful opportunity that I really have enjoyed throughout my grad school. So as my last year as an art scholar, I was a little sad to go away, but I really am honored and humbled to be here, so thank you.
Will's a lot taller than I am. Next up, and she's more my size, is Olivia Ang. She is originally from Seattle, and she is doing research on Mars, where we might all be living one day, who knows. But her fun fact is that her very proud mother is in the audience today.
Hi everyone, and yes, thank you to my mother who traveled all the way from my hometown in Washington State. But yeah, receiving this award has been incredibly helpful in relieving remaining financial stress. And not only that, it will allow me to attend meetings and conferences in the future that I may otherwise not have funding for. Conferences are really key settings where one can communicate their research, new results, and also make connections with other scientists in my field. I'm currently working on a relatively new and underutilized method for advancing our understanding of the surface geology of Mars and its water history. So attending these conferences is really vital for me to receive feedback and also potentially new ideas that ultimately improve my work. Furthermore, receiving ARCS award has just been incredibly validating amid the stress that one can undergo while pursuing a PhD. ARCS is a really lovely reminder that I'm on the right path and conducting impactful research. So thank you to the sponsors and everyone here.
Next up, we have Natalie Gonzalez from the University of Georgia. Natalie was originally from Los Angeles, California, and came to us via New Orleans. And she does very complicated plant research, and I am not qualified to explain it, so we'll let Natalie do that.
I just want to echo everyone in thanking everyone here who made this event possible. And I want to begin by saying that the ARCS Scholarship has been a really incredible experience and a true honor as well. As a first-generation student, science communication holds a special place in my heart. And thanks to the partnership between UGA and ARCS Atlanta, I've had multiple opportunities to discuss my research with a more broader audience, including you, the donors. This scholarship has not only validated my efforts in improving my science communication and skills with regards to that, it's also reinforced that my research is worth pursuing. Additionally, the financial support from the ARCS Scholarship has really been invaluable to my graduate school experience. I entered graduate school with chronic health issues, and at the time, my greatest fear was not whether I would succeed academically, so much as it was whether I would be able to manage the medical expenses with a graduate student stipend. Last fall, for example, I had a rather expensive medical procedure, and this fall, though I'm in much better health, have still had to pay a couple of visits to the University Health Center and have seen a couple of specialists. The office visits and prescriptions quickly add up. So I think I speak for everyone here that's a graduate student when I say that grad school is stressful enough without the burden of these unexpected expenses. But fortunately, because of the ARCS Scholarship, this financial burden has been relieved, and it has made it possible for me to pursue my PhD despite the obstacles that these health issues have imposed. So on behalf of UGA, I want to thank the donors and everyone here involved in coordinating this ARCS Atlanta event for their support in making my academic journey more attainable, and also to thank you because of the partnership that you have with UGA has provided me and others like myself with the confidence and resources to continue pursuing our research and our career goals. So thank you.
I told you they were all great. They're just amazing. And last, but definitely not least, we have Miles Gaucher, who's originally from Atlanta, and he has a real passion for environmental justice. So I'll let Miles take it away.
All right, hello everyone. I'd like to start by thanking the ladies of ARCS Atlanta, the Davis family, and Ms. Glenn for their support in my journey. So when I first entered college, I was pursuing a career in dentistry, drawn to the stability and the income that came with it. But after securing an opportunity in the field and working there over the summer, I realized that it wasn't my calling. I couldn't see myself doing this for the rest of my life. And I found that my true interest was research, being able to make discoveries and expand our understanding of the natural world. So after figuring this out, I dove headfirst into research, presenting at national conferences, and eventually being recognized by ARCS Atlanta. This recognition reinforced the validity of my work and pushed me to go further into the field. So I'd like to thank the donors of ARCS Atlanta. Thank you for believing in me, and thank you for supporting my journey and making my goals achievable.
He's going to have to do this because he's a lot taller than I am, but it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce Dr. David Thomas. He is the 12th and current president of Morehouse College. While Dr. Thomas will be retiring soon, he is staying on to complete Morehouse's capital campaign to ensure that Morehouse will continue its mission of excellence and will be educating young men for generations to come. Please welcome Dr. Thomas.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Caroline, for that introduction. I also want to thank you, Mr. Smith, and your company and your colleagues for your support of this important endeavor that's represented by the work of ARCS and the foundation. And just the fact that you're here is a sign of the importance of this, because I'm pretty sure that your schedule is like mine, and at any moment in any day, you can be 2 or 3 different places, and where you decide to show up is as much a signal about what you value as it is about what you must do to justify getting your paycheck every month. So, thank you. Also, I want to thank all of those who are part of this organization for the work and commitment that you do. Whenever I have to give these talks, the night before, I'm always given a pretty thick briefing book that I have to go through as my homework. And I was struck by a few things that really signaled the commitment of this organization to the work. First of all, this foundation is totally self-funding. No federal or state dollars, city dollars. That means that every year, at the start of every new year, this group wakes up committed to making sure that they can continue to provide the support to these young scholars who have the potential to change the world. So it's an honor to speak with you all this afternoon. This is the 3rd time I've been to this event, and each time I've been struck by the energy that it generates. It's very positive and hopeful about the world and the future because of what the work is that you and we are focused on. We have been partners, as I understand, with this organization now for almost 4 decades. I often use our partnership with this organization as an example, when other foundations and organizations come to Morehouse, and they come every week, it's pretty amazing, and say, we want to do something with you. What does it look like to have a true partnership? And it just so happens that in our strategic planning process, we started to ask some important questions of ourselves about how do we position ourselves to best serve our students and to serve the world as Morehouse College. And we came to a realization There's lots that we should be doing, but we can't do it all by ourselves. We need partners. And then the question became, what kind of partners do we need, or partnerships? And our answer was, we need partnerships of purpose, not transaction, not partnerships of transactions, but partnerships of purpose. So when others come and ask me, well, what is a partnership of purpose? I say, well, let me tell you about this organization that we've had a relationship with for over 30 years that support our students as well as the mission of our organization. And I use this relationship as an example because partnerships of purpose, at least for Morehouse, are built on a few things. One, it is a partnership that enhances our ability to serve our students first and to advance the mission of Morehouse College. And the mission of Morehouse College is to develop men with disciplined minds who will lead lives of leadership and service. And even as I was reading last night some of the materials I was given, there was a line in there, I don't know if you wrote it, Caroline, but you know, that we're about supporting young people who will go out and quote unquote change the world. Well, if you know anything about Morehouse, that's been a theme of many of our graduates, starting with our most famous graduate, Martin Luther King, to go out and change the world. And what we know at Morehouse is that he was only the tip of the iceberg. There are others and many more to come, some of whom you may have met this afternoon. And that's one of the great privileges of being the president of Morehouse College. You wake up every day with 2,600 young men who are going to be influenced by the decisions that you make that day or that week. And one of them just may be your king. Right? Each president wants to have a king under their watch. And one of these young men is likely to be my king. They will change the world. We truly believe that. So, this relationship enhances our mission, and that starts with serving our students. And this is clearly focused on serving our students in ways that we alone don't have the resources to do. Also, it aligns with our values. Our values, one of our starting values is excellence and the pursuit of excellence. And I often tell my students, excellence is a habit, not an event. And you need places where you can practice that excellence. And, you know, if you look at some of the projects that students have been working on, and I was looking at some that my students have been working on, and listening to their passion for them, this provides opportunities for them to see and practice excellence. I was just talking to one of my students who's doing fascinating work on prosthetics for women who've had surgery for breast cancer, mastectomies, and creating more user-friendly prosthetics. Now, that's about making a difference in the world. He also was able to get an internship at the University of Connecticut, where you have one of the top centers doing this kind of research, so that he can observe excellence and recommit to it in all the endeavors that he has. The other piece of a partnership of purpose is that it enhances the experience for our students and our faculty and staff. I just mentioned how this fellowship has helped one of my students enhance their experience, but also we have here today two members of our faculty and staff. One is Dr. Jeffrey Handy, who acts as a mentor and guide for the program. The other is Danielle Ward, who, as I understand, invests significant time and energy in working with the foundation and working with our students to make sure that their needs get met. And I'm sure that's a professionally enhancing experience for her and makes her want to stay at Morehouse. In the same way that I think Dr. Handy, unlike me, will not be retiring soon because he gets the benefit of mentoring these young men. And if he ever gets tempted to leave, I think he'll think about them and it'll make it hard to do. And indeed, I am retiring at the end of the year, and I have found it hard to do because of what we do uniquely at Morehouse. So just a bit about Morehouse. Some of you may not be familiar with it. Morehouse is a historically black college founded in 1867. It was founded, focused on the education of men recently freed from enslavement. With the idea, because our mission has not changed, to develop men with disciplined minds who will lead lives of leadership and service in their community and in the world. If you think about 1867, 2 years after the end of the Civil War, a lot of people didn't believe that you could educate black men to high levels of intellectual excellence and see them rise to become leaders in their communities, and starting first with the ideal of service. We have continued that mission. We also hold a unique place in higher education in that we are the only institution in all of higher education that is singularly focused on the development of black male excellence or production of black male excellence at scale. And by at scale, we mean not in ones and twosies and tens, but in the thousands. And if you want to see it in action, come to our graduation this May, where you will see more black men graduate from a rigorous undergraduate education than anywhere else on the planet. That's scale, not ones and twos, but scale. We also have a unique connection to the particular focus of this foundation in terms of its focus on STEM education. For many years, Morehouse has been a leader in training black men in STEM areas. Up until very recently, and now a couple of my fellow presidents are debating with me whether it's still true, but at least according to U.S. News and World Reports, we have produced more black men with PhDs in STEM fields than any other school in the country. We've also produced distinguished leaders in STEM fields. Former President Walter Massey was head of the National Science Foundation. Roderick Pettigrew, an alum who was at the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, pioneering work that brings together the life sciences and engineering and medicine. He's a member of the National Academy of Engineers and the National Academy of Medicine. And we continue to produce individuals who are doing amazing things in STEM-related fields as scientists, faculty, and as entrepreneurs. We've also produced Secretary of Health and Human Service, who some of you may know, Dr. Lewis Sullivan. As well, Morehouse School of Medicine was born out of Morehouse College. Today it is freestanding, but that idea was born from the faculty and then current President Hugh Gloucester in 1976 to create a med school in the South that would serve rural and urban communities. So we have a long connection and history in STEM education. And this partnership, again, is a partnership of purpose because we've always valued that aspect of our education. So we thank you for your support in helping us continue to meet that part of our mission. We also have a special distinction among the schools that are represented here. To my understanding, we are the only purely undergraduate school in the cohort that is supported by your efforts. And it elevates our brand for us to be in the same community with schools like Emory, Georgia Tech, the University of Georgia, all of which have renowned science programs at the graduate level. So hopefully, any of you who may be on admissions committees, you'll come over and take a look at the talent at Morehouse College and make your way to our door. Again, they are only the tip of the iceberg. And you heard from Miles. Again, he's an example of what happens and what we're producing every day at Morehouse College. So now, I was given very tight orders about my talk. One, don't talk too long. You know, whenever people send a note and they're asking a president to speak, and then it says, make your comments brief. Right? It's an order, not a wish or a hope for. But that said, I'm going to grab another minute just to say a few things, in particular to those of you who are ARCS scholars. You hold, in many ways, keys to the future of society. It is undoubted that STEM-related fields will be central to helping to solve some of the most challenging problems facing our society, whether we're talking about climate, the environment, food insecurity, water security. You can just go around and think about every major challenge and opportunity before society right now, and all of them call upon interdisciplinary study and research, and all of them can be enhanced by STEM. And if we just think about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, almost every development in human history that has fundamentally changed the way we think about and our assumptions about life have had a STEM connection. You think about the printing press. That was engineering and technology. That was a technology. You think about the telephone, the internet, silicon chips. One that often gets overlooked that really transformed the way we live and think about life is refrigeration. The other thing I'll say about some of these is that they derive because inventors, scientists, STEM practitioners were trying to solve a problem that would make people's lives better. I think, for example, in the invention of the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell had a relative, it might have been a daughter, who was partially deaf. And he was thinking about how to make her life better. today we all take for granted e-commerce, but e-commerce actually emerged from a company called eBay, right, that was selling used items over the internet. And it came about because Pierre Omidyar, the founder, was trying to solve a problem for his then fiancée, who loved Beanie Babies. And she was part of these clubs that traded Beanie Babies. So he wanted to make it easier for her to do it, and he thought he could do it by making an electronic exchange that would draw other people who were Beanie Baby fanatics to it, and they would start to exchange their Beanie Babies. And today, we call it Amazon, we call it PayPal, right? We call it Apple Pay. But it came out of trying to solve problems that people were experiencing on the ground. And that's where I'll end. To all of you who are STEM practitioners, STEM majors, don't narrow your lens on life. What do I mean by that? I mean, look beyond the sciences for answers to where you can apply your gifts as experts in STEM to make life better for people. One of the great minds of technology was Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs was actually not interested in STEM when he went to college. He was interested in design. And he talks about how the secret to Mac is actually design and things he learned in his design class and in his calligraphy class, right? That the Mac interface and the beauty of it that distinguished it from other projects came because he spent time taking courses in calligraphy. So I want to encourage all of you who are STEM majors, focus on understanding culture and understanding human needs and trying to solve very practical problems on the ground. It's kind of like I have a son, he's very talented, and he and some buddies tried to create an app that would help absent-minded fathers like me find their wallets and their keys in the house. Somebody beat him to it. But basically, he was tired of having to help me find my billfold every day. And his buddies had fathers who were like-minded in their absent-mindedness. So there are practical problems out there to apply these things to. If you, as STEM talent and experts, are not just focused in a kind of nerdy way just on the science of the problem, but really focused on what the human need is and what value you can provide people with the solutions that will emerge from your work. And in the true spirit of Morehouse, let me say that it is very important that you approach those inventions and problems with the value of making a more just world. And Miles's work is a great example. He's focused on the environment, but through the lens of environmental justice. If you think about what's happening on our planet, we need to think about the solutions so that more, not less, of those on the planet benefit as we solve, for example, issues of climate and security, for that matter. So with that, I apologize, Caroline, for running over. That was not brief, but that's what I got. Thank you.
On behalf of the ARCS membership, I want to thank everyone for coming today. I want to encourage you to eat, but more importantly, meet our amazing scholars. And again, thank you so much.